I'm still seeing some tendencies with this car to snap loose on you if you get too aggressive with it. What do y'all think?
Yeah, if you overdrive it, you gotta hit your marks.
Damn it.
That's it, go!
Well, I found the setting where it allows you to restrict tires. You have to use the beta interface, and it's under the car setup.
Now let me ask you this: is it like one set, or can you do two, or how was it?
The way it works is you define how many times you can come in to take tires. So if you take 2 tires or 4 tires when you come down, and if it's set for 1 stop for tires, you can take 2 or take 4. But once you come in and take any tires, you cannot take any more.
Yeah, that's what Robert said, I think.
So I've got tonight's session set up for no tires. So you cannot take tires. You only got the 4 that's on the car. And I think I'm going to do the rest of the races for this round that way, including next week's sportsman race, the open wheel race, and the super late model race. I also found that you can now change the engine power. So I think we're going to try for the sportsman cars next week. I'm going to reduce the engine power to 80%. And then on the open wheels, I'm going to reduce it to 80% and see what those drive like. But yeah, all the rest of the races, I think we're going to use no tires.
What if you have a flat?
So far, I've not heard of anybody ever having a flat.
You said that about me and Chris stalling out in the middle of the race, too.
Yeah, but I've been doing this iRacing for 7 years, 8 years, and I've never had a flat tire.
You ever had your car to just quit on you?
If you hit the ignition, you might hit the I button on your keyboard.
Yeah, that's the only way I know of for it to kill the car is for it to just get shut off, and you'd have to restart it using whatever controls you've got set up for ignition.
I don't think I've done that, and I know damn well I didn't hit the I on my keyboard, but I may have hit another button.
Chris, I think I set up an ignition button on your steering wheel.
I know you did the one that I had to push in order to start it, but I guess it's possible I hit it, but I sure don't think so.
Yeah, well, aside from that, I don't know any reason the car would not automatically start itself back up.
You said yours done it too, didn't you, Mike?
Yeah, the same race yours did. Same thing. Got in a wreck and then it's died right at the flag stand.
All right, hang on just a minute. I think I know I'm going to look at something. Hang on.
But I changed my steering wheel like Chuck told me, and I start my car manually now.
Yeah, well, I set mine up and I start mine manually too.
All right, go to the options page and look on that main page there. Right, on the right-hand side, about midway down, you'll see a checkbox that says Auto Start Engine. If that's not checked and your car gets bogged down for whatever reason, it's not going to automatically start running or start up again or stay running.
That may be what happened to mine, because mine done it on a restart.
Yeah, see, I'm pretty sure that when I set all your controls up, Chris, I'm pretty sure that I turned that auto start off because I intended for you to have to do it like a real car and use the switches. Now, Mike, I didn't set yours up, so you'll have to look at yours and see how it's set. But I don't know of any reason other than that the engine would shut off.
I've got mine in manual start now, so I'm okay.
Yeah, you know, when I first set mine that way a few weeks ago, I got caught first couple of 2 or 3 races sitting on the grid, and when we rolled off, I didn't have the engine started, so I have to remember. I've about got used to it now.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, I'm going for the realistic stuff.
Whoa, 316.
So, Louis, we were just having a little discussion. We noticed you can still overdrive these cars to the point if you lean on them too hard, they'll still snap loose coming off of 2.
And 4.
Yeah, and 4.
Didn't mean to get in your door there, 12.
That might have been me getting in your door, man.
Only thing about if you did set it to 4 tires, Chuck, if you're toward the rear, I'm not sure you can take 4 without getting loud.
Yeah, that's still going to give you some options. You're going to have to decide what you can do, get away with.
Ouch. I'm upside down. Nope, I'm right side up. Wait a minute.
Hey, Chris, has Ronald been back over and practiced anymore?
No. He asked me that he was out here if Nikki or any of them done it. And I said, yeah. I told him, I said, yeah, Chuck, Nikki, and several of them done it.
We need to find Larry Crow and see if we can get him hooked up.
Inside.
He's worse.
Clear to the box.
He's worse than I am about these computers.
Clear.
Chris, I'll give you a run for your money.
Bullshit.
All right, that's a weird view. Hitting the gas, nothing's happening.
Some reason mine's wanting to snap loose off of 2 and 4. It never has done that. Is the weather different?
What did I just say a while ago?
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. I was busy.
Yeah, I said a few minutes ago that I'd noticed that you can still push these cars over the edge and they'll snap loose off the corners. It's not as bad as it was with that other setup, but you can still do it. It's enough to make me want to be careful tonight, which means I'm probably going to be mid-pack or farther back running the car.
I'm going to the front, baby. That's all there is to it. I'm going to the front.
Well, you do it to it, and you bring all them incident points with you.
I didn't say I was going to tell. Never mind. I was going to say something. I'm not going to say that.
We can't all be Formosas.
Hey, we're bringing back the Formosa Phelps feud to iRacing. Barber's going to paint me up an old Tony Monte Carlo, and he's going to paint Joe Williams up a Zillin Phelps Ford.
I knew Joe Williams would eventually be associating with Zillin Phelps again.
What exactly does that mean?
You remember a month or so ago I accused you of that? That's just something that I pinned to you.
Let me tell you.
Uh-oh. Now watch it. We got some timid ears here.
That's okay. Now, I'm just going to tell you. In the 40-something years that I've been doing announcing, trackside and elsewhere, Zillin is the only one who ever hid behind me when the beer cans started flying over the fence.
Hey, I've got that video on YouTube, favorited, the one where I forget what TV station it was that did the article on the big knockdown drag out after that late model race, where Vince, I think they interviewed Vince and Nikki and Tony, and that's one of my favorite YouTube videos.
They never did find out who threw the wrench through Zillin's car, but I know for a fact it was Vince.
I ain't so no guy in there and wrenching nobody.
Well, that's interesting. Judkins always took the blame for it. Yeah, but Vince told me he did it, but you know how, who knows? I still want to smack Vince every time I see him. You know what he did to us with Bubba one night, don't you? Yeah, about when Bubba came out of the car and said, "Oh my God, he's lost his leg." Runs up on the wall in turn one, and he's the first one there.
And Vince looks in and says, "You okay?" Bubba says, "Yeah, I'm fine to anybody in the pits." He said, "No, everything's good." He said, "Good." Vince comes out screaming, "Oh, my God, he's missing a leg." Oh, my God. We all went nuts. I'm running down there to get there. And here comes Bubba hopping out, getting the smoke.
Bubba could wheel that thing around that quarter-mile track, though, couldn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he'd already run top 5 at the rim and then come down there and unloaded and started in the back and throttle hung on it.
Well, you know we got Vince on here. Tell him about the time, Chuck, and you had the cheat detection.
Oh, I remember it, but you probably tell the story better. I don't have a vivid enough memory.
It was not. It wasn't iRacing. It was the NR3 game, and you had a cheat detection, and the guy that ran the cheat detection called you up, and he said, "We got somebody in there cheating tonight," and you go, "Well, who is it?" And the guy, he goes, "Vince Formosa. He had a weather cheat."
Yeah.
When I write my book, I got 100 Formosa stories.
Y'all made Tony wear that crown on his head when he won that Triple Crown. Was the funniest night I've seen him.
You know, what's the worst part about it is we had a little go-kart there, and he looked at me after we'd done all this to him, and he says, "I ain't got to get in that, do I?" And I'm sitting there thinking, I hadn't thought about that. I said, "What a photo op." I said, "Yeah, you got to sit down." If he hadn't said anything.
Yeah, I remember that. I was young then. I was up in the stands. I remember that.
Crown and scepter to go with this trophy.
That was a good race because I remember Nicky won the first segment and then got involved and tore the car up in the second segment. And that was a new car that Tony drove. And I think Gil Martin set it up for him. At least the front end ain't coming up off the ground with these things like it was.
My favorite all-time story involves Nicky and the Charlie Chamblee car.
Oh, here we go.
I could hear this one.
It's a little bit long, but it's worth it. They had bought the car from Charlie and had run it a few times, and things were good. I think Nicky was 4th or 5th in points at the time. It's also when he decided that it was time for snip. So he gets his doctor. You know, you've had surgery, man. I don't know about this. The doctor gets on. He has the doctor call me and all this. He says, you know, as long as he stays in the air, he'll be air conditioning in the truck. He'll be fine. Saturday comes, I go down. Nicky's pretty good. He's sore. He says, but you know, look, all I'm going to do is find me a place to ride. And if that's 3rd, I'll ride in 3rd. If it's 9th, whatever, I'm just trying to hold my points. Okay. Nobody else knows it. I'm the only one he's told. So he goes out, qualifies. I think in the version he started 3rd, I think. Anyway, car's working. He's doing all right. We're about 6 laps in, and he's running 4th. And there's somebody, I forgot who was 5 or 6 car lengths in front of him, and 5th was 5 or 6 behind him. And, I mean, he's hitting his marks. He's just got his rhythm. He goes down in turn 1 on about lap 8, and the hub breaks out of the right front and goes flying over the fence. And the car goes straight to the concrete. I mean, he walloped it. Well, I know what's going on. So I'm headed down as quick as I can, and I heard rescue when they got to him and said, we think he's unconscious. Thurman, there's something special you need to know. I'll tell you when I get there. Well, he admitted later that to make things a little more comfortable, he'd left that fifth strap down the middle a little bit loose. He said when he hit the wall, he slid. It says the worst thing he ever felt.
Oh, it's like slipping and falling on a one of them beams that them gymnasts do that little catwalk on. I bet he felt like he just lost his foot and then fell right down in the V.
Is that when the wheel went over turn 3 into an SUV out in the parking lot?
No, that was Tony's in another race. But he says, I told him, I said, man, that must have been the worst moment of your life. He said, no, that was the second worst. I said, okay, what was the worst? Well, at the time, we were still using the old van kind of ambulances. And we had this one EMT, can't remember her name, but oh my God, she was about 26 and she was stunning. Nicky said the worst moment of his life was when he finally got his faculties back to him and he realized in the back of the ambulance, it's in the infield, and she's got them in her hand going, okay, can you feel this? Can you feel this?
Oh, God.
And then, to make it worse, he looks up and says there's, of course, those old van ambulances had windows. Said there's 200 people with their face pressed up against the window watching her do it. Say anything to him now, he just kind of grins and chuckles and won't talk about it.
I'll have to ask him about it.
He'll be back on here in a couple months, won't he, Chuck?
Yeah, he'll be back by September.
I figured he'd already be back, but no, sir.
Yeah, he won't be able to resist about September, October.
He needs to find him somebody to co-own his rig, somebody that wants to race during the summer and not race during the winter, and let him use it during the winter.
Well, he loses money every time he does this. He goes out and buys all top-notch stuff and then goes and sells it less. Then he goes and buys it all again.
We need to put some big anchor bolts in the floor wherever he sets it up next and padlock it down and don't give him the combination.
Yeah, he'll have the blue saw after it. I can see him now hauling the bottles and gauges into the house. And Brenda going, what in the world are you doing?
Hey, Matthew, don't forget, drivers meeting before qualifying.
Yes, sir. I remember.
I never did hear that Tim Richmond story you was going to tell us, Joe.
And no tires tonight. I've got it set for no tires.
Well,
Yes, sir. And the retard zone is past the Jordan sign, correct?
I want to hear about
That is correct.
Channel 4.
Can't remember if it was 86 or 87. We brought him in to run the All-American 4. God, maybe in 85. Anyways, he'd just gone to work for to driving the Folgers car. Of course, Baker's company was the one who put that whole deal together. Everybody knows Richmond's wilder than a goat. So I'm 22 maybe. Baker looks at me and says, you got to take care of him, making sure he's at the track every morning on time. So we put him up at what was then the Radisson across from Opryland. It's part of the Opryland Hotel now. And I had a room right next to it. And so Billy Badbutt here, when he comes in, gets him on Friday, he says, okay, we're going to the hotel. And that's Thursday after practice. We're going to the hotel, and I expect you to be in your room at 10 o'clock. Thought he was going to hurt himself laughing. I said, serious, Mr. Baker told me that. Okay, no problem. So I'm working on typing something up for the next day. And about 10 till 10, there's a knock on the door. I go to the door, and it's Mr. Richmond. And he is wearing one of those Western coats, those long Western cowboy coats. He said, just want to let you know that I'm in for the night. I'm going nowhere. Okay. Man, I appreciate it. I said, got everything you need? He opens this coat, and there's enough pockets. There's got to be a half a case, if not a case of long necks on the inside of this pocket, this jacket. So everything's good. About 11 o'clock, I heard a knock. I thought it was my door, and I got up and looked, but it was his. Beautiful blonde. About 15, I got woke up by a knock. She was a brunette. 3:30 was a redhead. I'm thinking, I got him. I got him. You know, he ain't going to be able to walk in the morning. I got him. I drag my butt up. I'm trying to get together, and there's a banging on my door, and it's Richmond going, you ready? Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. And gentlemen, that happened Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night.
Good Lord. He was a wild man, wasn't he?
Sorry, Drew.
Saturday night was 4 of them. All been there. All been there.
All at once or one at a time?
Best I could tell, one at a time, unless, you know, one slipped past me. And that's mentioned it. I never saw any of them leave, so I don't know.
And just think, this is just what you know about. Imagine what he does when he did the whole time on the circuit.
Well, I'll tell you this. I was still at the track when word came down that he had passed and why he passed. And we got literally 60, 80 phone calls from females going, is it true? Oh, my God, I have to go to the doctor.
Are you serious? Good God. I'm guessing he was with more women than Magic Johnson was.
Ain't no doubt.
Was he a pretty nice guy other than that?
Yeah, he was basically what you saw. I mean, he was always, I won't say he was always on, but around people he was always on. By Friday afternoon going back, he got comfortable with me. He was able to relax a little bit, and you know, he was pretty calm, and you know, you could tell he had crap on his mind. He was serious about his job too.
Got one inside.
I don't think all that hell raising he did took anything away from his abilities as a driver. He knew what he was doing. Of course, after that, Gary kind of got a hold of him, and Harry Hyde, and they got him a little more focused, and then it just was too late.
He was actually an IndyCar driver, wasn't he?
Yep.
You say that, Louis?
What?
That thing jump out from under me coming off the turn toward.
I'm not surprised if mine done jumped out from underneath 3 or 4 times.
That keeps up, we could all be in wall of shame trouble.
That's it, go!
Joe, we was at the shop one time, and Mickey and his dad came down there and picked the car up. And they drove a Lincoln. They drove a Lincoln down there. Well, the car was ready, and they didn't think it was going to be ready. You ought to seen them leave out from the shop pulling a race car in a Lincoln. You remember that, Chuck?
Got one inside, clear to the bottom.
No, I don't remember that. I probably wasn't there when that happened.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's when they bought the car from Charlie.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That was probably after my time.
I remember going to a 300 lapper back in the late 80s, and Tony drove the 102 car. I think Bobby Hamilton won it, and it was a 300 lapper, and Tony finished second. You remember that, Joe?
State Fair race, 1988, 300 laps. Bobby Hamilton wins, driving with one hand.
Yeah, I was there. It was in the middle of the day. It was a Sunday.
Yep.
Joe, who was it that used to run up there at Nashville and they'd come to Huntsville every once in a while? He had 2 little old purple Opals they brought with him.
Sounds like Rapid Ron Hevron. 47 number?
I don't remember, but I think he had a daughter. I know he had a that drove one of them.
All right, that wasn't Ron.
Well, I remember that name, though.
I remember them Opals. I had to race against them.
Was to Huntsville one time, and Nicky was going to drive one, and Bobby was going to drive the other one.
I remember a gold-colored Opal with a guy named Bobby drove. I can't think of his last name, but he does starters and alternators.
No, both of these cars was purple because Bobby Hamilton was going to drive one of them, and Nicky was going to drive the other one. I was about 16 years old, and Huntsville wouldn't let Nicky and Bobby drive them because they had already drove in a higher division back then. Oh, Bobby talked that guy into letting me drive one, and that guy's daughter drove the other one. So we were in two separate heat races, and I won my heat race, and she finished about mid-pack. But anyway, he told her then to follow me through the crowd. Well, we had to start on the back because if you hadn't ran there before, you had to start in the back then. Well, we got to about third place, and somebody in front of me blew a motor, and I smacked the middle of turn 3 and 4 down there. And about the time I looked up in the mirror, she hit me right in the ass and totaled both of his race cars.
And he told her to do.
I fixed my face. You did exactly what he said to.
Listen, we went out there in that heat race, and I started in that heat race, and I thought I had it in the wrong gear. So caution come out with about 3 laps. I come in and told him, I said, this car's turning right at 10. He said, yeah, that's about right. He said, go back out there.
Got one outside.
Yeah, them Opals have turned 10 grand easy. I was running a Ford 2.0 at that time, and about 8 grand was all out there to turn mine, and that was screaming.
I just always figured he was bad at Nicky did, but I never did see him again. I apologize for wrecking his race car.
Got one outside. Clear.
Doesn't sound like you had a whole lot of choice.
I didn't, but them little things back they seem to be outclassing the field. I'd never sat down in a 4-cylinder car, and it was unbelievable the power they had to me.
Yeah, they were real stout. We had the 2000s built. I think I was one of 4 people that was running the 2000. We had 1 or 2 that was trying to run the 2300. Couldn't get them to run at that time. But I do remember that those Opals were strong. I finished second one night to somebody named Formosa who was driving a black Opal. I don't know who it was.
That'd have been Bubba.
Well, both of these was purple, and I think it was like 7 and 07. And he brought them down there for, like I said, Bobby was going to drive one, Nicky was going to drive the other one. Because I wound up having to wear Nicky's driver's suit. I didn't even have a suit with him.
It's been about 79, 80, 81, somewhere in there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's about the right time frame because I ran minis from 86 to 91, I think, or 90.
No, this was in like 81, 82, somewhere right around in there.
Oh, Chris, are you sure that wasn't Rod's Custom 250?
That I drove those Opals in.
Now, I don't know. I don't know that. I just remember Bobby Hamilton coming up and one of the other Nashville drivers, and they were actually in Joe's shop with us. And that was for the weekend that we ran the Rod's Custom 250 because remember we qualified. I think we qualified either on, I think it was Friday night, and then the race was on Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. But no, this night I'm talking about, this man brought these 2 cars down from Nashville, especially for Nicky and Tony to drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't remember that.
Either of y'all remember a little gal that was a driver named Wendy Wiley?
Still talk to her.
I've got a video. It's on YouTube that I led the first, I don't know, I think it was a 20-lap race, and I led about the first 15 laps. And then we had a caution. I had to race one if we hadn't had that caution. We had a caution, and her and Mike Davis closed up on me. And Mike was able to get around me, but she finished right behind me. I tell you what, that little gal could drive a race car.
She's a good kid, good family.
I remember it because it was her birthday, and Howard Wayne Bentley had the crowd sing happy birthday to her.
Louis, did you know Mitchell Walls was spotting for JoJo the other night?
Yep. He's gone from being a driver to a professional spotter. I don't have a clue how that came about. Don't have a clue who introduced him or how they knew anybody, but I knew he was spotting for him.
Yeah, I heard his voice on the radio, and I got to looking around up there, and I seen him.
I wonder if he was the one that took her 3 wide.
I think that was John Boy.
John Boy told her to go 3 wide or hold her position, because she was definitely the one that should have backed out at that point. She was the last of the 3.
Yeah, I think it was John Boy.
Well, that don't surprise me at all.
Guys, whatever happened to Ron Hall?
Alright, hey guys, let's hold up for a second. Let's have a drivers meeting before we qualify. Thank y'all for coming out to our Wednesday night series. We'll hit this drivers meeting up real quick here. Remember, there's no horseplay, abusive language, profanity, or anything appearing to show lack of respect to your fellow racers or the league. Casual chat must be kept on your own private channel. There'll be no conversations on public radio except anything that's concerning the race. Violators will be muted for 7 days for the first offense. No burnouts or other tire heating tactics allowed at the start of your qualifying run. After the race director will review all yellow flag incidents after the race, and the driver deemed at fault will be given an incident strike on the wall of shame. Any driver that reaches 5 incident strikes inside a rolling 28-day window will be suspended for at least the following week's event and until his incident strike count is below 5. Any over 5 will be carried over and added to the additional week slot. Additionally, any driver that collects 16 iRacing incident points during a race will be automatic DQ'd and parked for the remainder of the race. iRacing incident points are given to drivers upon contact with another driver, the wall, or self spins. Contact incidents are non-discretionary and are given regardless of which driver is at fault. If the yellow flag count doesn't come down to a tolerable level, then we will lower the allowable incident count to 12. We had a good count Sunday night with only 3 cautions. Let's try to have that again tonight, guys. The last lap spin rule, regardless of whether or not the yellow flag comes out. If someone spins another lead lap car during the final lap of the race and is determined to be at fault in the post-race review, then the offending driver will be scored the next car behind the car that he spun. Our definition of a spun car is one that spins and comes to a stop due to the incident. If the spin car does not come to a complete stop, then no fault will be given to the offending driver unless the yellow flag comes out due to the incident. If you spin and come to a stop on the track, wait until there's no oncoming traffic before you try to rejoin the field. If you try to rejoin the field and wreck another car in the process, you will be charged with incident strike. The leader is responsible for maintaining the steady specific pace car speed after the win and go indication has been given to the field. The green light determines the initial start. The leader controls the restarts and may fire any time after crossing the apex point of turns 3 and 4. We have determined the apex point is the Jordan sign up on the wall over in 3 and 4. The penalty for jump stars is the position. If the position is not given back immediately, will be a post-race 1-lap penalty. The race leader does not have lane choice and must restart on the inside row. The move over for lap cars to the outside. We do allow a maximum of 3 green-white checker restarts. Black flags are not cleared. Previous winner sits out qualifying this week is Chase Johnson, which I don't think is here tonight. And tonight we have set for tire limits 0 tires, which means you cannot pit for tires tonight. That's not there's no tires allowed tonight. Did that cover everything, Chuck?
Yep, that covers it. So, yeah, you can come down and try to take tires all you want, but they're not going to give them to you. We done went through the pit area and collected all the extra tires. They're locked up in the tire barn.
Your revenue loss.
So take care of your tires.
Well, if there's no questions, you're free to go qualify.
Green flag, give me a flyer.
They're showing us a fill flag as a warning. We need to get moving and cut the nonsense. Let's turn this around. Otherwise, they're going to pull us out of qualifying.
1 more lap.
That's the checkered flag.
I got a black flag warning because I slid my tires.
Yeah, I got one because I spun out on my first lap.
Well, I spun, but I held on to it. And I finished the lap. It took a 26-second lap, but I finished it.
Yeah, he kind of insulted me. He said, let's cut out all this nonsense before we get disqualified.
If you hit the point, the wall during qualifying, does that mean somebody's point going you on into the race?
No.
You just don't get a time.
Oh, I hit it after the check.
Sometimes it'll take it away from you. I've seen it do that before. Yeah, Zach, if you slid your tires, spun, got sideways, or anything like that, the game interprets it as tire warning. Welcome to the new build.
Got me Sunday night.
And Joe Williams, the answer to your questions you asked just as was.
And I find it funny that y'all spun and got a black flag, and I spun on my first lap, and I did not get a black flag.
Never could get to smile.
I didn't get a black flag. It just, my spotter came on and said, you better quit all this nonsense before we get you disqualified.
I said, Joe.
Wow, all right. I didn't have anything from a spotter or a black flag, so I don't know how to interpret a difference, my spin differently.
I didn't get a black flag. I got deferred black flag warning.
Zach, to answer your question, you can set the number of times that you can pit for tires. You can't control how many tires a person takes, but you can take how many times that you can come to pit road for tires. So if you've got it set for 1, that means you can come down pit road and take either 2 or 4, but that's it. You will not be able to come back in later in the race and take any more. Now, the only place you can find that, I had a hard time finding it. I even went out to one of the iRacing forums and wrote a little post because I was aggravated I couldn't find it. I looked all over the place for where you set that. You have to actually go into the beta UI, into that new stuff they've got. You have to use that new tool, and then you have to go under the car setup. Once you got your car picked, it's right there under the little car settings icon. You can also control the horsepower in the engines. It's on a 0, or I don't know what the lower range is, but it's up to 100%. So you could, say, take that Pro late model car and back it down to 80%, and basically you're putting a restrictor plate on it.
And yet you spin a tire, you see it does up special.
So we're actually going to try some of that out the rest of this week. Next week, the Pro late models, and then the open wheels the following week, we're going to put restrictor plates on the engine and back them down to 80% power.
Line up on the inside. Pit road is closed.
Open wheels, I can see it helping. Not sure about the other.
Yeah, I just want to see what it does to them, what kind of effect it has. That might be something we can use for those 87 Monte Carlos to get them more down like a street car.
Catch the 43 car.
Scotty, how fast did you say y'all were going at Talladega the other night in the draft?
I think we got up to 218, I think it was.
Holy cow.
We're crazy.
Yeah, didn't you say that you had to lift off the throttle going into the corners?
If you had somebody on the outside of you, you did.
Ready? Green, green, green. Got one outside. Clear outside.
That was a 2X right there.
Yellow, yellow, yellow. now. Pit road is closed.
It went around on you, didn't it?
I did a 360, and luckily it was off of the racetrack, so I didn't get a yellow flag for it, but it got a 2X. I'm going to come down pit road and see if it gives me tires. Oh, look at your F5 screen. They're grayed out.
Road is now open.
Yeah.
So that's how the mechanism works. If you set it for one set of tires or one stop, you come in at pit road and you can do it ever how you want, set how many you want, but I bet you the next time you try to come in, they'll all be grayed out.
I ain't figured that out yet, have they?
Pit road is closed.
Or you can just take two at a time.
Yeah, they probably just chose the quick and easy route. You know, they tried to come out, I think they tried to come out with this before, and that's why it's been so long coming out, because they had problems with it. I guess they couldn't get it working like they wanted it.
Okay, bud, green flag, next time by. Line up on the outside. Getting ready here, getting ready. Green flag, green flag. Outside. Clear outside. Yellow, yellow, yellow. Line up single file. Pit road is closed. Letter 12 carbine.
What happened, Louis?
Momentary loss of brain function. I don't think anybody hit me. I don't think there was anybody close enough to me to hit me. Could have. Could have been Drew on the outside, but I doubt it. I have to look at it.
Pit road is now open.
Now, do I need to pit for this? In case they find out that it's my fault, or are we just going with the incident strike?
No pitting required. We're letting the instant point DQ and the wall of shame handle everything.
Kenville, I got 2X out of that.
Yeah, I think that's just your standard loss of control 2X. Same thing I got.
Pit road is closed.
I don't think I touched Louis then.
Do you know if you got any, did you see a yellow message come up there telling you got some instant points?
You know, they're going to look at it anyway, so it don't really matter. I'm pretty sure there wasn't no contact.
If it was net code, it was a bad one, because I was a good ways off of you. I could see your tires.
Next time by.
Yeah, I thought so.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green. flag is out. Line up single file. Pit road is closed.
Appreciate you not running over me there, Matthew. I was all over the place.
Now you're welcome. I was trying to give you all the room you needed to keep it pointed forward.
It is snappy loose off both corners.
Pit road is now open. Liftoff 51, cowboy.
Robbie Taylor, too sore to race with us tonight.
I think they're working on that legend car, trying to put it back together after he tore it up.
Catch stop 93, car. Pit road is closed.
I messaged Balk a while ago. He didn't get no response.
Okay, bud, green flag next time by. Line up on the inside. Catch stop 13, car. Get ready, going green. Green flag, green flag. Got one outside. Clear outside. Got one outside. Clear to the stop. Inside. Clear to the bottom.
halfway to the finish.
I just ain't got the grass on this setup that I had on the other one.
Got one outside. Clear outside.
little more room.
Got one outside. Clear. Inside. Clear inside. Got one inside. Clear to the bottom.
Go over that.
Outside. Clear to the top. 5 laps to go. Got one outside. Clear. White flag, one more lap to go. There's a flag. It's over. Great job, driver.
I was running right behind McComiskey. I was all over him, and I brushed the wall. And after I brushed the wall, my car was just bogging down. I just kept losing time. My lap times dropped to 16.5, 16.5.
The race is over.
I don't understand it. They must have changed the damage model.
They did, according to the release notes.
That's
Well,
it, go!
The tires never fell off.
Yeah, I ran after that contact, which was way before the halfway point. I was running 16.3s and 16.5s consistently the rest of the race, but it was that much off of y'all.
I ran 16 4s and 5s the whole last, I don't know, 15 laps. And couldn't catch nobody.
Well, I don't see a bit of damage on my car, but it sure slowed down after I contacted the wall.
It was that camber adjustment.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It must have got the wheel and knocked the camber out of it.
Me and Matthew and Cameron were running. We were running ones.
22 or 23 on this race. That 47 car just flat ass wrecked me.
Well, I guess you're going to have them kind of nights.
Hey, Chris, I saw what happened, and you warped out, and I was behind the 47, got in the corner, and just bam, all of a sudden you were there, and then you hit the wall nose first and didn't get a caution.
What lap was it, Chris? Let me go back and look at it.
It was like lap 22 or 23.
Yeah, you was there, wasn't there, and all of a sudden you just come out of nowhere. Yeah, you blinked completely out.
By the way, congratulations, Scott.
Yeah, appreciate it. That was fun.
Got to get tired of winning, don't you?
These cars are a handful. I'm surprised. I figured Coyer would have caught me there.
Yeah, you got to bathe in the throttle off. They're hard.
there, Randy. I got it now, but boy, you're breaking up. I can understand most of it, but I'm going to let Frank figure out, was that internet issue there, or was it the way he was talking into the transceiver? Or do you think he had an external microphone to his radio there, Frank? It didn't come in too clear here. So, but welcome aboard there, Randy. And Frank will turn it over to you, so don't run off right away. K9 WLW KV6RRX.
And on my DMR radio, I will probably see your name and call. It takes a little while for the DMR database to update that info so that my radio will decode. Unlike Fusion and D-Star, where you're always sending out the call sign on those networks, DMR sends a DMR ID, and then I use some database in my hotspot that's supposed to decode that DMR ID and change it to a call sign so that I can rate it, but I'm not getting that on your end yet. So I suspect your DMR ID is relatively new, and that means within a couple of weeks or so I'll be able to see your ID convert over to a call sign. But you're sounding good and rock solid here in Florida. I'm in the city of Tampa, about a mile west of the Tampa airport. In hot, humid Florida, rainy Florida right now. We're starting to enter the rain season here, where we get we probably get about 2/3 of our rain in June, July, August, September. That would definitely be the rain season, and it's usually a threat of thunder. Averaging thunder shower activity about every other day